What's up, people? I'm gonna just break it to you right now. I know what I said last video. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, bro. Life been kicking a nigga ass. Life been, yeah, you feel me? It been hitting them combos, bruh. Shit me with 2 jabs. I got hit right here in the liver. I said, oh, put my guard down, got clocked, bro. So, you feel me? And to that I say, as long as you make the effort, first comes the thought, then comes the realization that you can only stay within this temporal space of decision making for so long before you have to take an action. And my example in this case being, do I want to smoke or do I not want to smoke? I understand I have the want to not smoke because it would lead me down a greater path in life. But sometimes in life, all we have to do is what we have. You know what I'm saying? You can't make much more do than what you got. And if your life suck and there ain't shit to do, you bored out your mind, and you know, the only thing or one of the only things that can help you not be bored, you know what I'm saying? For example, you don't feel like reading a book, you don't feel like drawing, because don't get me wrong, it's better to do all them things than sit here smoking. I've improved more in my artistic skills, reading, and just writing things that I should be doing naturally that I found myself falling out of. Sometimes, bro, the type of world we live in now, it's ever so difficult. They made it compromising on the human brain to do the things that it's supposed to do naturally. That's why you'd rather pick up your phone and scroll through Instagram and read a book, because it's easier. It's easier to do that. Nonetheless, it's okay. It's okay to break your promises sometimes, and it's okay to go back on your word sometimes, as long as going back on those things isn't detrimental to what the context of the problem or your word was. You know what I'm saying? To me, saying I'm not going to smoke and then smoking is not as harmful as saying I'm not finna kill this person and kill them anyway. You know, it's a very skewed analogy or parallel analogy, but the point I'm trying to make is, stuff like this, you're really only harming yourself. And to me, you shouldn't harm yourself, but I'd rather harm myself before I harm anybody else. So like a decision like that to keep smoking even though I want to not smoke, it's not doing nothing to nobody but myself. And I'm just gonna have to deal with that when it's time to. And I'm okay. I'm okay with that. As long as I accept the fact that, all right, I'm gonna smoke now, but I'm gonna have to work hard on it later. Something I'm willing to do. But nonetheless, I'm coming to y'all because I don't know, I was in the shower and I was thinking to myself, we under here by the way too, because it's raining. But yeah, I'm thinking to myself just about life. And one thing I thought about was why it's so hard to trust people. And I feel like everybody got trust issues to a degree. We up like under a little canopy right now because it's raining. I'm trying to protect my blunt from the rain. Joint, whatever you call it, spliff. It's really what it is, but yeah, it's raining, so that's why we in kind of an awkward spot. And the phone's sitting up on a branch, so that's why you angled. Nonetheless, yeah, I was just thinking about it. And I was thinking about how I probably should have did the meditation first, but eventually I'm gonna get to it. I wanted to meditate on, because, you know, I realized anytime I have you know what I'm saying, this is not an I situation because we're all capable of the same things. Anytime we have thought, and not just the thoughts with substance, not the ones that run through your head every day asking you dumb shit in your brain or going over dumb memories that make you cringe. I'm talking about the ones that actually put you in thought loops to think of something new you ain't think of before, or like something that you realize, like, damn, I should probably figure this out because it might help me with my journey in life. So yeah, I was just in the shower, because those are the shower is one of the places that could provoke that kind of thought, because it's so, especially if you don't use your phone in the shower. I like watching YouTube videos when I shower, but sometimes I you know what I'm saying, I'd be like, let me put this down. Let me be up in the shower with just myself. You feel me? So yeah, I was chilling and I was thinking, like, why don't I trust people? Cause I've realized that about myself. I realized that, like, I don't trust people. And it's not even an instance of like, oh yeah, well, I don't trust people either. Nah, it's just, I understand the participation that you have to play within this construct that we built called society. And I understand a great majority of the rules. And one of those I realize is that you have to trust people even when you don't want to. And with that, I've realized, like, I trust people in hindsight and face value, because I know nothing about you. You can only give a person what you know. If you don't know I'm a serial killer, and I just tell you I'm a nice guy because I help out, I volunteer at the Boys and Girls Club, you don't think I'm a person of the community. You don't think, oh, you know what I'm saying, he for the kids, he like helping people. Whole time, all the staff in there, I'm kidnapping and killing. We're not gonna say kids because we don't fuck with hurting kids. But yeah, all the staff, I'm up in there packing up. And just because you don't know that I'm packing people up, you thinking, yeah, he's a nice guy. So you can only really go off of what people tell you. And I believe what people tell me because I'm not gonna think you're a liar. But at the same time, I'm going to think about the fact that you could be a liar, and what could this information that you're giving me pertain to? And I'm saying it could be a smokescreen, i.e. masking the fact that I'm a serial killer with giving you the fact that I volunteer at a Boys and Girls Club. Or like men, for example, when they get in at women, for example, let's say a girl got a man, right? And you trying to get at that, you know what I'm saying? You talking to her, you don't know she got a man yet, but you could tell she's going like she don't got one. And you asking her questions, and instead of answering those questions like you got a man, why are you worried about that? I don't, you know what I'm saying? Rather than just straight up saying I don't got no man, they're gonna give you any other answer than the one you're looking for. That's just smoke screen you away from the information that you want. But off topic. So I was just thinking, and I was really thinking about it, because it occurred to me that, like, yeah, I don't trust people. I don't even trust my family. And I trust them in a loving sense. I trust them to care for me. I trust them to be empathetic towards me. I don't expect nobody out of no one, but on a baseline expectation of, you know what I'm saying? Because I personally, and I feel like a good portion of what my distrust comes from is the fact that I no longer have expectations for people. I no longer have in my brain that people of this category are supposed to do this. By baseline, yes, that's always going to be present. You can't not think about the obligation that someone's relationship in your life has. But at the same time, we are all people with our own free will. We are all individuals who are able to do whatever we want to do. You know what I'm saying? Whatever a person thinks, there's really nothing stopping you from doing what you think. No one can stop. There's consequences and there's other people. But those are both external forces. Those are both things that have to play and factor after you take action or you do what you thought. So if you really think about it, no one can stop you from thinking what you want to think, and no one can stop you from doing what you want to do. You have the power to do anything else anybody else in this world has done, just because of the fact that we both human. You know what I'm saying? And even if you messing around with ancient deities and devils and whatever the fuck you doing to get an edge, you're using external forces. Because at the end of the day, if you take away those external forces, the only thing you're going to be left with is the fact that you thought of that idea. If you have no external forces, to make that idea actually come to real life, i.e., having a blueprint for an invention and taking that blueprint, that imaginary thing that doesn't exist yet, and then on paper, it starts to exist within the second dimension. And that paper dimension version of that thought can then be constructed into a 3D version within the space that we live in. So it's layers to it. And with that said, it's like no one can stop you from, you know what I'm saying? No one can stop anyone from thinking or doing what they want to do. So with that in consideration, with that factor in play, I have a baseline expectation of 0 for people because of the simple understanding that, yes, I can expect you as a family member to do a family member's job, but then at the end of the day, I expect nothing out of an individual because the individual is going to do whatever they want to do with their life. And that aspect has caused a great shattering in my ability to trust people, because it's like, in my personal experiences, a lot of people has failed me. And I already know one of the biggest, you know what I'm saying, one of the biggest like things to start it, which I want to say it is, but then I just like, I was thinking about it more, and I'm like, it's a multitude of factors. It's not just that one thing. I have no shame being vulnerable. In fact, I just want to make sure I don't got no ticks on me. In fact, I feel as speaking about stuff that I don't normally speak on, it really does help. Even if it makes you feel sad, even if it makes you feel emotions you don't want to feel, you have to feel those things. You have to feel those things in order to process and distinguish what you're feeling, to be able to contextualize yourself better. And with that, like, it never really occurred to me why getting essayed at a young age caused distrust in me. But the more I understand it, the more I realize, like, I don't know, as a kid, when something like that happens to you as a kid, it's like you see something that's not there. You see something, you're able to understand things in between the lines. You're able to read between lines that you can't even see. So it's like, not only am I seeing shit that's not there, but then I'm seeing behind the shit that's not there before anybody's even seeing the lines to begin with. And one thing about that experience as a kid was just like, something about it told me that people are going to do in their favor. No matter how much you disagree with that statement, people are always thinking about what they may get out of it or what they want out of it. And the distinguishing differences about those two is someone could be genuinely a good person and be willing to help you, but at the same time, their need to help someone that makes them such a good person, they know they get something out of it. So they're more willing to be a better person because they know they're going to receive better blessings from being a good person. That in itself, in hindsight, is still you doing for yourself. That is a selfish thing to do. That's not selfless. If you were completely selfless, you wouldn't be thinking about what to get. You know what I'm saying? And with that, I mean, like, you don't see homeless people out here doing shit. And that's not to say that homeless people are obligated to do anything, because I don't have an expectation for someone with no house or food in their stomach to do for other people. But that in itself, even though it's not selfish for self-preservation, it's still self. What is the prefix? Because prefix goes before, right? Before. Suffix is after. But the prefix of the word self indicates that you're doing it for one first. That means you are going to be the first beneficiary of whatever it is that you're doing before anybody else experiences it. Again, to clarify, it's not a bad thing. It's not evil. It's not nothing of those things. It's just human nature. It's just the way our brains were designed. It's the way every animal's brain, we were animals at the end of the day. It's the way every animal's brain is designed. When it comes to survival of the fittest, survival in nature, it's you or the other creature. At the end of the day, we still live, even though we've complexed our nature to do the things that we're doing now, such as talk to you through a phone screen, we're still animals at the end of the day. We still feel fear, anxious, anger, sadness, happiness, and survival instinct to preserve ourselves. And that takes form in society through what someone might get out of an interaction. And so I don't like putting that outlook on people because I don't want to make people seem a way they aren't. But if it's one thing that I've understood, it's just like, I keep people at a distance because I don't know anything about you. It's the unknown that I don't trust. I don't know what you're thinking. I haven't seen enough of your actions to distinguish what you want to do with your life or what you're looking for out of life. And so with that, I use that thing that I gained from that experience of distrust to deconstruct people. I'm saying I gotta deconstruct you, and I have to get to you and understand you first before I could even begin to question whether I can trust you. And so it's like there's so many layers of life that I've experienced and implement Oswell into my own way of life, and it has gone to show me how selfish people are. And a big deal of that selfishness is what causes me to not trust people. I also don't trust myself because I know I can be a bad person too, just like everybody else. I know I've done bad to others. I've cheated. I've stole. You know what I'm saying? I've done bad deeds before. And I think about the fact that, yeah, I was in a position where some of those things I did because I had to do it. I needed to do it. And let me not say I needed to, because you don't never need to do bad things. But in the instance that someone got to feed their family, and the only thing they can do is steal because they not getting no jobs, they don't got no money, and they got 3 kids, I don't blame you for that shit. So it's like, you never know exactly what it is that causes a person to do something, but you always have to remember that this person is most likely doing it for themselves, and not to put a negative stigma on people. But like, yeah, life is so much better when you think it like that, because then rather than being in a dirty bubble without realizing it, you're able to keep your distance and see that it's a dirty bubble afterwards and be like, see, I'm kind of glad I didn't trust that person too quickly, because I wouldn't have realized what I got myself into until I was too late. So yeah, I just realized I have a strong distrust for people. And I don't think I finished what I was saying, but like the fact that, you know what I'm saying, some people are willing to do bad deeds for themselves in a situation where they have to, I'm able to put those scenarios in my head and put people in those positions to see if it's a valid reason for them to be doing it for themselves. Because depending on what you are doing for your self-gain is what causes me to distrust you. Because if you use your self-gain to then put a platform up for other people, ball out. You know what I'm saying? Good shit. I want to do that. Like, everything that I do, I carry myself in a good manner so that way, like, I can just be for other people. Because I realize there's too many people that are selfish in the manner that I'm speaking of. And so I'm using that selfish nature that I have within myself to be selfless. It's kind of an inverse effect. And there are people like me who are out there, which is why I don't inherently distrust people. I just distrust the fact that you're a person like me, because I am a distrustful person, if I'm being honest. And it's like, you see how that's essentially a hyperbolic, but then you know the people who are truly distrustworthy and, you know what I'm saying, are the ones who would sit and lie to your face and not tell you something like that. A lot of people can't come forth to you and tell you the stuff that they be doing, like I be doing on here. I talk about myself. I don't really care, because it's like, to me, them experiences has shaped the person that I am today. And anyone can say that, because that's how life goes. But nobody truly reflects on it, because a lot of that reflection people are scared of. And it's because of the fact that I distrusted so much people that forced me into isolation to reflect on myself, to show me that, like, damn, okay, I see it, and I want to change that. But a lot of people are scared of themselves. A lot of people can't face their traumas. A lot of people can't face their memories. A lot of people can't face what they did in life. So they hide it away and pretend it don't exist. And they continue on through life with this aching hole in their chest, being like something's wrong, because it is. You're going about it the wrong way. By being an actively untrustworthy person, you're gonna feel like you're wrong. And you can kind of tell those kind of people by how they act. And so, like, what my experiences showed me is that a lot of people hide their negative self. And their negative self, the more you put emphasis on hiding that negative self, shows me the greatness of your distrust. Because even if you are a distrustworthy person on paper, how you show me that distrust shows me how much I should trust what you're saying about that distrust. So if you're a person that, if you could talk about your wrongs and accept them and want to be better and then it's like, okay, I could believe what you're saying. I trust what you're saying, because that's the type of thought process someone who actually would be thinking that is going. But if I know shit about you, or I don't know stuff about you, and everything that you're doing is to show that you're a good person, even when it comes to opinionated things, because that's the thing that shows me, that's what really shows you the most, is you can always tell a person's opinion and standpoint on something when they're left alone versus when they're in a social environment. And that comes with a lot of observation to others, and seeing other people in their own skin without others interacting with them shows their true self. And seeing how they interact with others shows their mask and the social aspect. And I realized some people never take off that mask, and you can tell when it's taken off. You can tell the situations when, like, okay, yeah, that's you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not seeing the I help out and I do this and I'm such a good person at this very moment, because that's not what you're showing me after telling people this, and me all this time, versus someone who says, yeah, I'm a good person, but then you actively see them do bad things, and you question, like, oh, if you're a good person, why are you doing that? And they explain themselves. And it's like, most people, I don't know, I hated when everybody would tell me that me using an exclamation is just an excuse, or like me explaining myself is just an excuse of justification for my behavior, which is partly true. Because at the baseline, everything could be an excuse. Thermodynamics is the excuse for why we have heat. It's the exclamation of why this process arises. It's the excuse of the exclamation. You're using the excuse that this happens to produce this. It can be negative or positive. It can be neutral. And to me, an excuse and exclamation tie hand in hand. That's another thing about me a lot of people fail to understand, is that, like, I give meaning to nothing. The world only holds the meaning that you give it. So people don't understand that words are spells, and when you believe in this meaning of this word so strongly, that's what that word is to you. And so people put emphasis on the meaning of words, even ones as minuscule such as excuse and exclamation. To me, they're the same thing. An excuse is a exclamation to justify your wrong behavior. An exclamation is a justification of a process. It's the same logic, just in different fields. So, you know what I'm saying? I hate when people tell me I'm using an excuse, but I can understand why you think I'm using an excuse, because people do use excuses to do bad things. But an excuse is often displayed in the form of an exclamation. And I explain myself a lot. I explain myself a lot because I know how confusing of a person I am. And you understand that the more confusing people are the ones who actively are good but still do bad things. And it's like, it's not good to do this bad thing, but you're still doing it. It's just a mental battle. It could be whatever mental battle you're fighting upstairs to cope or get through, or use as an excuse to not get through and just say fuck off. But a lot of distrust comes from observing people and just seeing and holding your own words and actions accountants to your own character. And when you do that, because people aren't going to do it for themselves, they're not. And when you do it for them, they're going to make you seem crazy for doing it. So you just have to do it in your head and just trust yourself that that's a logical conclusion that you're coming to. And I like the fact that even though at the beginning I mentioned that I don't trust myself, I don't, because I am another person as well. My brain will trick me into doing things. My brain will trick me into partaking in stuff I don't really want to, but I would justify and give myself an excuse to do so. That's why I don't trust myself. But at the same time, I trust the fact that my intuition is so good. I trust the fact that over my life experience, a lot of the things that I made statements and judgments on came out to be correct. I've made a majority of more correct statements and judgments than I did bad ones. It's not to say that I don't make bad ones, and it's not to say that like the bad ones that I make, it's just I don't make it, just barely. No, I make terrible judgments calls sometimes. I make terrible choices and actions. But the ones that I made that were good were the ones that like they really protected me. A lot of the ones that I've decided that I thought I didn't make the right choice led me down a better path than one I could have been on. And because I trust my character and how I am as a person, opposed to my person, you know what I'm saying? Rather, let's say it as my soul to my body. I trust my soul, I don't trust my body. And because the soul is piloting, I know I can intuitively trust myself, even though I don't, because I know I'm not gonna fail myself. My body's self-destructive, but my mind isn't. And you know what I'm saying, when things get too great, I'm able to be like, yeah, I'm able to make that call that a lot of people aren't able to make. What Thanos say? The strongest choices require the strongest wills. You have to have a strong will to make a judgment or a call you don't want to make. But that call is going to be the best call for you. And like, to me, that's kind of always how it came. Like when I feel like, damn, maybe I shouldn't do this, then like I kind of like reverse psychology myself and think, well, if I feel like this, then it has to be done. You know what I'm saying? If I feel like it's not what I should be doing, and this is to separate it from like surface level stuff I shouldn't be doing and complex stuff that I shouldn't be doing. Because when it comes to the surface level, it's like it's an easy, yeah, I shouldn't be doing that. There's nothing to think on. I shouldn't be smoking. I mean, there's nothing really saying you shouldn't, but you shouldn't because it's not healthy to have smoke in your lungs, even if the effect of weed is a positive one or neutral. It's not healthy, it's not good, it's bad to have smoke in your lungs. It causes harm to you. But like other things, for example, like, you know what I'm saying, cutting off a friend who's good to you, or cutting off a friend who you think is good to you and it's not. That might be a more complex decision to make because on the surface level, it is good. It's a social relationship that provides you mental benefit. But the dynamic of the relationship could be what's bad that makes you think, should I stop being friends with this person? And it's a lot of those kind of complex thoughts where the good is what makes me feel like, damn, like maybe I shouldn't. But then because I'm thinking maybe I shouldn't, I'm thinking at the same time, well, then yeah, I should. Because I'm only saying maybe I shouldn't because of X, Y, and Z. And if that's why I'm saying maybe I shouldn't, X, Y, and Z is not a valid reason for saying I shouldn't. Therefore, using process elimination, if it's not valid, the more valid, the more logical decision, that being the I should, got a call, is the option that I take. It's like a lot of things, I'm able to see it in that nature. I'm able to see the world in a very complex viewpoint that a lot of people aren't able to. And I feel like that's what causes me to distrust people the most. Because I see stuff that a lot of people don't. And it's because of that stuff that I see that makes me think like, Because it makes me feel like, I don't think you would be acting or doing this if you were seeing it the same way that I was. Because from my standpoint, it doesn't seem right. But whatever is happening in your brain is causing you to justify that standpoint. And if I think that standpoint is wrong, and I'm not saying that like my perception is better than anyone else, it's just what feels right to me. And so if I feel like the way that I'm feeling is right or wrong, and the standpoint that you're projecting, then to me that's going to tell me where you stand or where you are on the other side of perspective for you to think that this is good or that you should continue doing this. And it's little things like that that make me think like, okay, yeah, we have two different standpoints, or you're seeing things from a different viewpoint that justifies what you're saying that I think is wrong. We're not going to mix. I don't trust the idea of us staying in contact or whatever. So, to conclude that all, I had a shower thought about why I don't trust people, or why it's so hard for me to trust people, because I do trust people, just not in the normal way. Yeah, I was thinking in the shower, like, damn, because I was talking to myself, I was just kind of rambling in the shower, and I was like, damn, maybe I should do a video. So, took that thought and put it into fruition. Because who knows? Like, I don't even want to be famous. I don't want people to know who I am. I want this to be like shit that you stumble across when you need it. Like when you're in a spot in life, you don't know where to go. You're like, damn, I wish I had some help. Nigga, we in the same boat. Yeah. I don't got a lot of people to give me direction on what I'm supposed to be doing. And the direction that I am given is the same direction that I've been given from everybody else. So it's like, bro, y'all not telling me shit that's really actually finna help me with where I'm at mentally. Or like, you know what I'm saying, feeling how I'm feeling. So I can only assume that like with me feeling this way, I must tell other people, or like, yeah, just tell other people. I just have to get it out, because you never know. There's gonna be someone who stumbles across this in like 20 years and is thinking like, and this bitch got like 100 views, and they're thinking like, yo, what is this? And they just decide randomly to watch the whole thing and come out that video like, nah, that was actually that was some helpful stuff. So that's all I want to do. That's all I want to do. It's like, I don't even care to help people. It's more so, I want you to be able to help yourself, because there's a difference. I feel like, you know what I'm saying, I feel like people who want to help people, again, want to do it for their gain. I don't care for the gain. So therefore, I'm just going to give you what you need to help yourself, and do with that as you will. If you don't want to apply that information in your life, cool, you can't make the horse drink water. But I'm showing you where the water is. You know, I'm not one of those people who is like, yo, I know where water is, but you got to follow me. Nah, I'm going to tell you. And you proceed on your journey as is, because that's what life is supposed to be. Life is supposed to be you experiencing it for itself. That means you doing the things that people tell you yourself, and not just taking what they're telling you and being like, oh, well, because they said it, then that's all I needed. Nah, you gotta actually experience and go through that joint yourself. But that's it for this bid. I'm about to crush this roach, cause that's all this is. Probably go back in the crib, sleep some more, and be ready to wake up tomorrow and get back to it, get back to life. And to that, I want y'all to have a good day. Stay up, even if you down, stay up. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you're no bigger than your situation. Your situation is no bigger than you make it. You can't really be down if you don't feel like you're down. You don't believe you're down. Some might call that delusion. I guess I'm delusional because I don't care. Like it could be a terrible situation. So I'ma still feel good. I'ma still be walking around like there ain't nothing wrong. Cause I already know I'm dealing with enough upstairs. I don't need my exterior to start going through shit too. I feel like that'd be too much. That'd be draining. I know a lot of people don't like to feel drained. So keep a good perspective. Keep a good mentality, even when it's hard to. It's always better that than feel a way you don't want to feel. So yeah.